Good morning. All right, let's begin. Simply connect to our breath to begin. So it's in the space, the perceptible space of our body in which these material occurrences emerge and permutate and recede and go back to source. So to feel the space, can be quite a healing or interesting endeavor. We'll begin a 1 to 2 breathing ratio, but specifically with the exhalation. Let me point this out on my body. So here's my navel. Here's my pubic bone or pubic symphysis. I'm going to play with enacting the musculature right around the pubic bone. So way, way down here. And if you need to, sometimes you can, just with your finger pads, you can press right around and even slightly behind your pubic bone. You can feel that there's, right? So we have connective tissue, fascia, which shapes and part organizes the abdomen. But from there, those materials, I'm just going to start to move or exercise with the way that I'm exhaling. Now, in a less material way, in a more kind of space-concerned way, feel how those muscles and that skin and that tissue, they almost fold in or move in, which will give us a sense of interiority and depth. Sometimes we just start to feel depth, and that gets us on the track of feeling the space of the body. So again, the pranayama is really simple. The framework is 1-to-2 ratio, but the specifics of it is just I'm playing with getting these muscles moving so that I can feel the depth of this low belly, the internal space between the pubic bone and the sacrum. If it helps to separate your legs or to separate one leg, that might be helpful. So let's do a few rounds or several moments like so. And we'll be on our own pace. So please begin when it suits you. I've observed that this area of the body can be one of those more challenging places for people to start to feel, to sense. So if using your hands to create a little guided motion, that might help stimulate the muscles and the movement. So with a lot of this, right, the movement can help us beget feeling, sensing. And then the feeling and the sensing can help us beget being. So just all in a continuum of knowing. And know that there may be being and sensing beyond what we're able to sense today. So great. We'll be working side bend. Now, usually I'm open to just doing this from a cross-legged position, but today we'll straighten the right leg to side bend one way and we'll straighten the other leg to side bend the other way. So I've got my left leg bent in front of me. My pelvis is facing you. So this is just a very comfortable opening. I'm not trying to create a stretch in the groin necessarily. But to me, this feels like my left leg can rest more assuredly on the ground. I can feel my left sit bone. So if you can't, I just want to reorganize the muscle in the meat. Okay, so we'll be side bending to our right. I'm placing my right hand beside my right hip. So if you can see this, my hand is behind my leg. Okay, inhale the left arm up. Now as I'm reaching the left arm up, I'm feeling this entire left side of the body. I'm feeling the sit bone. And those belly muscles, those deep, those low muscles down by the pubic bone, as I'm able to stoke them and volitionally move them, I can start to feel the waist, the space of the ascending colon, I believe, and the ligaments. I get into this upper left lung. You may have to adjust the arm, the reach, the position, so that you feel the left side of your chest is a continuation of the left side of your waist. And so do play a little bit, kind of, at this point, I'm really balancing on my right sit bone. My left is contacting the ground, but I'm situated on my right sit bone. I'm just playing and positioning until I can perceive the left side of my body as more continuous than more disjointed. And we have this great kind of margin for play. We can adjust the poses to create a perception. So we can be creative here. All right, inhale, bring the left arm up and over. We'll switch the position of our legs. So I'm just folding my right leg in. Ooh. All right. When I said disjointed, I didn't mean digitally disjointed. Here we are again. We're changing the side. I don't know how much we caught or missed. We'll set the left leg out for side bend to our left. Okay. The right sit bone remains on the ground. Placing left hand beside. Inhale, use the right arm to help you feel the motion of this right lung over your right sit bone. And exhaling, side bend to your left. And all of this is malleable. And if we reach too far, if we reach like vigorously far, you'll start to feel how the shoulder and this upper right quadrant begins to feel like a different entity from the waist. So maybe we position and we move so the right shoulder feels that it's on a continuum, a spatial continuum that the waist is. As we're developing, I think this is in the order of days and weeks. These lengths, these flanks, they are, embryologically, they are continuous. What starts to arise from this kind of groin bladder area does become my flank, and I'd inhale the right arm up and over. Let's lie on our back. And if there's any back concerns or aches, just remembering that we can do this with our feet on the ground or feet on a wall. There's numerous ways to do this. With the hands behind the head, inhale into this low abdomen, umbilical area, raising the head, the brain. Exhale, the left leg out reaches. And again, as you're exhaling from the pubic bone area, those low belly muscles, maybe you feel the tailbone starting to fold in the way the top of the head is kind of folding in toward the heart and abdomen. Inhale, bend the left knee. Kind of unfurling slightly, just as a pulse of relaxation. Exhale, reach out through the right leg. Feel how the backside of your body gently lengthens. As you're drawing the belly down, feel how the tailbone, if allowed to continue in this direction, will just keep curling in and in right at the abdomen and the heart. Inhale, bend the right knee. Exhaling as we reach out through the left. And feel the back of the body. It's a very gentle lengthening. It's not a pulling. Drawing the belly in into the depths of the abdomen. So we can feel that space of the body. Inhale, bend left knee. Exhale, reach out through the right. If you can feel how the abdomen moving in, folding in, sinking in. Inhale, bend the right knee. Let's do just 3 more on each side. We'll be looking at this and some other things in a less structured way later in the week. Looking at these embryological curves and these folds and these moves as just little experiments in very primitive cellular movement. It occurs to me that there's a whole palette of movement that I ought to explore, so that's what Wednesday is for. Okay, now we'll remain lying on the back. We're working straddle, lifting through. So find all of the room to your left and your right so that you can separate the legs. Hopefully giving us sensing access to this pubic bone. In fact, let's do it this way. Leave the head on the ground, and you can place your palm heels right over the pubic bone. Now, sometimes, just because it's an easier reach for the arm, I'll use the roll. It's also soft. So you can use your palm heel right atop the pubic bone, or you can place a roll there. Okay, but leaving the head down, inhale where you feel that pressure of pubic bone. And then exhaling, you can actually create a little pressure. You can put a little more pressure on the left side or the right side. Sometimes when there's little rotations in the pelvis, you can adjust the pressure. And now draw the belly down and beginning that draw from right where the pressure is, the pubic bone area. All right, inhale, softening pressures. And exhale. The other thing that I like this for, we'll just do a few more rounds and we can just continue breath by breath, is it can start to give us a sense of the relationship between the hip socket and the pubic bone and the tailbone. So maybe the pelvis shifts a little bit under that palm pressure or that roll pressure, but there's a bit of pressure. Inhaling. And of course, exhaling, the tailbone might shift, the pelvis might shift. Just one or two more. You may even feel your thigh bones rotating independently in different patterns or different ways as you're creating these little lines of pressure and tug. And to bring the legs together, use your hands. All right, let's turn onto a side, pressing to standing. So I hope that brings some greater sensitivity to the pubic bone and the relationship here with the sockets, another relationship with the tip of the tailbone. Now I've got my legs set widely, so we're setting up for horse stance. Inhale, reach arms out to the side, and then exhaling, tailbone just kind of slinks down away from the skull, left elbow over right, eagle. Now I'm not dipping down into that lowest horse stance place, because now that we kind of have some sensitivity for the sockets, the pubic bone, the tailbone, it's kind of this basket, right? The pelvic floor, there's kind of this basket kind of reboundingly catches and shapes our breath. So if you're really wide in your horse, you may want to adjust a little bit. So instead of stretching the groin, you can feel the pelvic floor is a kind of the bottom of a pill, kind of this contour of pelvic space. We're good, thank you. Right over left. I had a concern there. And so the way that I'm kind of feeling and attuning to this basket, this pelvic floor container, I'm actually letting myself bound a little bit. I'm not holding the stretch static. I'm actually letting the feet just kind of bound so I can feel that that in between the hips area. Okay. All right, inhale, unwind the arms, straighten legs. Let's heel toe the feet together. Let's move to elbows and knees for dolphin. So one of the places the two arms kind of connect is through the collarbone. Okay, just like our hips. If there's a connection from the hips to each other, it's through and across this pubic bone. Well, for the arms, it's through and across the collarbone. That's one area. So let's play with this. Elbows under shoulders. Forearms out in front. And again, you may have to adjust a little bit if you've had some damage to one collarbone or shoulder. And we begin breathing in the interior side of the collarbone. So this is the chest wall. Maybe you can feel the collarbones slightly moving. With toes curled under, exhale, knees off the ground. From the waist, from the hip bones, all the way up to the chest wall and the collarbone. Can you perceive the sides of your body? From the groin, bladder, pubic bone, hip bone, all the way up to the collar. Maybe you can feel that on one side, more so than the other. Can you feel the collarbones? Do they have a bridge of connection from one to the other? And within the next breath or two or three, you can ease your way down to exit. And then please, let's stand. And before we proceed, if it's helpful, kind of feelingly remember where the collarbone is. You can trace. Sometimes our collarbones are a little displaced. We may have fallen on them or broken them or gotten some acquired some shoulder damage, but they're the nearest to each other right here at the sternal notch. In fact, sometimes you can slip a finger or two right between the collarbones and feel them at the same time. So, there you go. And I should mention this, if you're working with hip or sacral concerns, you may want to simply start and end your suns with your feet more like hip or shoulder width apart. So if you bring them all the way together and you feel any pinches, just move the feet out broader is often less painful for the back. Inhale, the arms, the armpits, the collarbones lift away from the hip bones. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step the right foot back, lunge. Hands to ground. Exhale, step the left foot back, lower. Cobra. Set the hands forward, inhaling from the pubic bone through that abdominal space. space under the heart. Exhale, lower, downward dog. Lunge. Inhale, right foot forward. Hands to ground. Exhale, left foot forward, fold. Inhale. Stand, drawing the arms up. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, reach up. And as the heels sink down, as the tailbone effortlessly finds gravity. Exhale, fold. Now inhale the left foot back, lunge. And we set the knee down. We'll remain in lunge a couple extra breaths. Can you feel the pubic bones kind of uniting the two hips? My sense is there's a tendency to perceptively isolate one hip. And I want to suggest that there's some anatomy that we have today, or probably have today, that can be used as perceptual bridges across and through the body. So the pubic bone, the anatomy that we have today, as a perceptual bridge linking the left and the right hip. Okay. Lounge, lunge. Inhale the left hand down. Ensure the lunge is stretched out, lengthy enough. Right arm hugs. Exhale, a little squeeze, a little turn. Now, if we got to work together yesterday, a couple of us may have, is if you liked working the inner legs, that crossing one leg over the other, the legs don't move, but there was a more active way that we worked this. You're welcome to revisit that. I find that helpful to feel the pubic bone and the linking and the two legs at once. So moving to flank stretch. Inhale, unwind. Now walk the hands to the middle of the length of your mat, and we'll press that back knee up. Left hand, grab your right ankle. What was the front foot of your lunge? Okay, feet active, quads engaged. Inhaling into the left side, the flank. Again, collarbone, all the way down to the hip crease, the pubic bone. Now, I know there's ways that we can pull and tug and move to create maximal sensation, but we may have to dial it back to feel maximum continuousness. So maybe adjust the pose slightly so that you can feel how the waist and the shoulder, the flank of the body, is more united than partitioned. And when we release the hands, inhale, walk them around the right foot, adjusting the feet. Exhale, step right foot back, lower, all the way down. Cobra, inhale. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. In downward dog, feel the thumb, the index, the middle finger. As you rotate your arm bones, feel how the bicep can move closer or in closer linkage to collarbone. You feel the chest muscles turn on. The trapezius let up a little bit. So you can feel that collarbone area when we wrap the shoulders. It's that inner arm line. That inner arm line is a linkage from thumb across that collarbone bridge into the other thumb. So lunge, inhale, left foot forward. We're setting right knee down. Inhaling, bring the right hand down for flank stretch. Lounge lunge. Exhaling, the left arm hugs the leg, so our chest turns slightly left. As we press or post through that right hand, we can keep lifting the ribs up. And feel that relationship from the right. It's like deep groin, pubic hip area. Right up through that chest wall, abdominal wall, chest wall, maybe into the armpit, maybe into the collar. And feeling the space of the body. Inhale, unwind, set hands down. We need that flank stretch. So curl the back toes under and press that back knee off the ground. If I'm walking my hands centrally or between my legs, my right hand grabs my left leg. Okay. So we're still on the right flank. We're still exploring that right side of our body. And releasing. Inhale, we'll walk the hands around the left foot. Exhale, step back, chaturanga. Oh, I'm sorry, step forward. Step forward, fold. We'll complete this sun. Inhale, stand, reach the arms up. Exhaling, hands to heart. Okay, so it's just one more connector piece to this kind of side study, this flank study today. I want to offer one of two poses. So if this is, we won't know how it feels until we know how it feels, but if in studying these sides, if this liberates or causes something to move or spin in a novel way, we may feel it in some degree of leg balance or twist. So let me offer two ways to explore the sides of your body, the flanks, these lateral edges. One item is left hand to right foot. Okay, and you can work like so, and you can work with a wall. Okay, so that's one idea. Okay, and the other idea, so what I'm going to do is downward dog on the wall, reaching one leg away from the wall. So that, just as a visual reminder. Okay. Okay, so you can select whichever one makes sense for you today. I'll just briefly talk through downward dog on the wall. And if you cannot bear weight on the hands today, there are some other standing poses, standing with a little bit of a twist. Okay. So if you're working downward dog on the wall, I'm taking downward dog, feeling the inner arm lines as best as possible. So that's feeling the thumb, that's feeling the bicep, it's feeling the chest and collarbone. And then stepping up. We'll give ourselves about 4 to 6 breaths per side. Those of you going upside down, you might play with feeling your pubic bone over your head, over your thumbs. I very often give us cues to feeling tailbone over your head, but maybe it's pubic bone over your head. Pubic bone in space, that gives you best balance. That's right, Crystal, that's it. Make sure to do both sides. And you can feel the pubic bone area, Marissa. You're getting into some really cool inner leg stuff yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, if I read that right. There you go. And just finishing up the other side. Ah. All right. And when you do feel complete, have a seat with a strap. So occasionally we've done this as a balancing move on our sit bones, which is kind of cool, but I want to show you another way also. So I'm placing my left foot in either half lotus or kind of like a pigeon. So I'm putting my left leg over my right. So one way we can work this is lying. The nice thing about this is I can let my right leg, my straight leg, I could kind of unreel it so it's very easy and gentle on my left half lotus, okay? Or it's like a pigeon. So this is one option, lying, and I'm wrangling my right straight leg with my strap and gradually pulling in. This should create no stress on the knee. My ankle, my left foot, is below my knee. Below meaning it's closer to the ground than above my knee or sky. Okay, so that's one option. If you just really like the balancing part of it, you certainly can. Okay. Just a whole different set of pelvic appliances. Yeah. Either way, my hope is that you can get a fairly sweet breath and read on the pelvis. Okay. There we go. And then we'll carefully unwind. We'll work the other side. So it's either lying, left leg straight, right leg in pigeon or half lotus. Or you can do this from balancing. I'd be balancing on sit bones. Yeah, nothing should feel torquey or weird on the knee. So just lighten up on either the position of the bent leg or the depth of the left leg pull. All right, and release. We'll set up for a brief Shavasana. When we feel and sense to the space of the body, the living space, one of the things we free ourselves up from is having to know how to fix or amend anything. We just don't need to know. Might be fun to know. But when I'm situated from the living space of my body, the space, aware of the space, the self-aware, beingness of the body begins to fold and move and unfold into intelligent resolve that I could never strategize with the front of my brain, with my frontal lobe. So in a way, it frees me up to play spontaneously with life. When you're ready, bend knees. We'll turn to a side and we can use our hands to press to seated. I love y'all. Have a good day. Namaste.